Hey there, everyone. Meteorologist Adam Claibon here with you on this Tuesday, which has brought another sunny and pleasant October fall-like afternoon to the area, which makes sense, right? It's in autumn now, so it's nice to see these sunny days because we know that eventually things turn wet, turn rainy, chilly, and windy, and also snowy for the mountains too, which we all have coming up as we head on into the next week or so. So today might be the quietest day that we see for a while. We're going to get into all of that because this weekend is looking like it is going to bring some impact to the area. Nothing that's expected to be major by any means, but probably one of the stronger systems that we've seen so far here into the season. So let's get into it. First, I wanted to point out what's going to be coming into the day tomorrow. You can see the water vapor imagery showing some of those deeper greens that we have out over the Pacific, just out that way, off towards the west. Well, that's this moisture that's going to be heading our way. And, well, tomorrow at least, we're only expecting that to bring in just a few light showers and a brief period of light showers, too, out over parts of western Washington. There it is. Kind of looks a little more ominous than what it actually is going to be doing for us. Now, most of that moisture is heading north, so that's why the concern is not quite as high for tomorrow. But I wanted to show you this right here. This is the expected precipitation and rainfall totals here over the next 7 days. Now, around the I-5 corridor, we're going to see anywhere between 1 to 2, maybe close to 3 inches of rain here, most of which will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Over the Olympic Peninsula, 3 to 4 inches, if not more, and seeing that same amount of precipitation over the Cascades. And I say precipitation because we're going to see a lot of snow fall along with that as we head on into the upcoming weekend. And why so? Well, because snow levels are expected to drop quite a bit, heading down to 3,000 feet by Sunday. And that's definitely going to help with producing the snow once we get the moisture out there. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Did mention that for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we are expecting a bit more of that impact with that system. And with that being the case, first alert days for that stretch of time. For tomorrow and Thursday, only expect a few light showers and a lot of dry times too, as highs still make their way into the low to mid 60s. Cooling down over the weekend with that cooler air arriving and still keeping a few showers around, and the cool air too into next work week just looks like a lot less rain as we head on into that point. So that means we're going to see snow up this way around Hurricane Ridge, and most of what we've seen so far here over the past week or so has melted. So expect to put down quite a bit more with this next system coming in by the weekend. Snoqualmie Pass. We're also going to see snow with this one. This will be our first noteworthy snowfall of the season. Kind of going to be exciting to see that. Up here around Paradise, some melting going on, but unlike what we had last week when all of it melted away, don't think we're going to see that here as we head on into this week. We're going to keep quite a bit of that still around. Paulsbo, clear skies, and yes, rain is on the way, but for tonight and early into the day tomorrow, expect a chilly start with those clear skies. That will mean quickly cooling down into more the low 40s and upper 30s for early tomorrow morning, and just starting to notice those clouds increasing as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Now here's radar, and things do look absolutely quiet for us here for the time being. Big picture, well, here's that system just off of the coast, and that's going to be spinning its way through the Gulf of Alaska, heading our way and bringing in those showers. Now here's a look at that on Futurecast. Tonight, that's 8:30. Things still quiet then. We'll head on into tomorrow morning. This is heading closer to about, actually late morning into early afternoon, 2 p.m., we're starting to have some of those showers arriving at that point. More light showers. You can see that band's pretty thin, so not expecting that to stick around for too long once it does arrive, but it moves in, moves out of here, and so by the time we head on into tomorrow night, here we are closer to about 5:30 to 6 p.m. We're drying out here closer to the I-5 corridor, and for many spots west of there. Off towards the east, we'll keep a few of those showers up across the mountains, and some of the few showers we're still expecting into the day on Thursday, that'll be near and north of Seattle, with a lot of it actually dodging our region. Now here we are, Thursday night. That's when the action starts to get going. This will be part of that atmospheric river moisture that will really start to put down some of the heavier rain. And we're going to keep it out over the Olympic Peninsula for most of the night on into Thursday. You can see it takes a long time before it to actually make its way eastward closer to I-5, but we'll expect that by the time we head into Friday morning. So Friday morning's commute could be quite a bit wet, and we do expect to see more of those showers as we continue on into Friday. And looking at Futurecast and kind of extending this out, that will be wave one that will hit us here as we head on into Friday and Friday afternoon. Then we get another one into Friday night, into the day on Saturday. That puts down quite a bit of rain, and that really helps to start the cool down that we're going to see with those lower snow levels. And then it really settles in as we head into Sunday, and that's when we really start to really pile up the snow at that point. And that's going to hang with us into perhaps even early Monday, but most of the damage as far as the snow is concerned will be happening here into Saturday night and into the day on Sunday. And with that being the case, here it is right here. You can see the totals are showing some pretty high amounts. Now, this is model data, and we still have a few days before we get closer to the event itself. So take this with a grain of salt, especially around Snoqualmie Pass. We do see those snow levels getting closer to around 3,000 feet. But maybe we're talking about 3 to 6, possibly up to 8 inches as opposed to seeing over a foot of snow. We're going to see some mixing, and we'll also have some of that melt at the same time too. But I think pretty good chance of seeing above 8 inches around Stevens Pass and White Pass because we're going to be higher, up around 4,000 feet and above here for those snow levels. And elevations for around Mount Baker and Paradise. Again, higher elevations closer to 5,000 feet there. You're talking about maybe closing in between 1 to 2 feet of snow. So this will be really the first one of the season that's going to put down a pretty good base, and maybe more to come as we go on into the end of the month of October and into the start of November. So those of you skiers, snowboarders, get ready, get excited. We're going to have some fresh snow out there. Now, here's a look at what we're expecting tonight. We're expecting temperatures to drop down into the low 40s and upper 30s. Again, clear skies, staying quiet here for the night. Into the day for tomorrow, this is what we're expecting. Highs eventually starting to make their way back around more of the mid to upper 50s. Now, there's going to be some 60s as you head farther south. So as this data continues to load, expect to see those showers moving through towards the tail part as we head into the afternoon. That's hanging with us as we head on into or tomorrow evening as well. We'll expect as we head on into that point that temperatures will be starting to drop, but not quite as much because we're going to keep more of this southerly flow around for us. And here we go. High temperatures beginning to pop up for you right now in just a few seconds. We'll see highs around more of the mid-50s up this way around Orcas Island. For areas such as Bellingham, I think only mid to upper 50s for some of those afternoon highs. And then things starting to change a bit more as we head on into some of our southern locations. So 60 in Bellingham, expecting to see highs around the upper 50s in Anacortes, 62 in Mount Vernon, back up around 62 in Arlington, Monroe up around 63, around 60 in Coopville, lower 60s in Kingston, Seattle getting up to 64 degrees. Again, a good amount of southerly flow, kind of helping those temperatures to elevate a bit ahead of that front that's going to come through with the showers. We'll see low to mid 60s down this way around Tacoma, Puyallup, 66 degrees, 63 in Olympia. Or low to mid 60s down this way around Centralia, Castle Rock, Longview at 64, 59 out towards Ocean Park, Blaylock at 57. Quilcene, though, hitting 64 degrees. Will be at 56 at Lake Crescent, 58 at Sequim, and 56 in Neah Bay. All right, your 7-day forecast features a few light showers on the front end and on the back end of this next 7-day stretch for us. So you can see booked in. In between there, we are seeing some pretty heavy rain, and those are going to be our first alert days because we're going to be dealing with the heavy rain, some of the mountain snow, and just something else to consider too. We're going to see some minor flooding because we're going to put down a lot of leaves from some of the trees that are still on there. We're going to see some clogged drains and some of those burn scars that we've had here over the summer. Well, some of the heavier rain has a small opportunity, but something that we're monitoring, producing maybe a landslide or something like that. So again, those are all risks that we're keeping in the back of our minds, but not a major system by any means at all, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Plus, with the dry conditions here, we need the rain, so this will be very beneficial as well. Okay, everyone, well, hopefully you've had a great Tuesday. Have a wonderful Wednesday as we get ready to head into the middle part of